Hello and welcome back. So this is a sort of epilogue to my Base in a Box series. It's not part of the series, but I'm just having a bit of a think about how things could be improved for next time. And one of the areas I think we can improve upon is with the steel smelting. So in the Base in a Box world, I had iron smelting, which then trained the iron plates into a steel smelting area. The upside of this was that iron ore was only delivered to one place, so to the iron smelting. And that was great because it really simplified the logistics of getting the ore in. I just needed the one destination rather than needing to load balance ore across two destinations. And on the world I was in, which was quite resource strapped, that was the sensible thing. However, you are using extra space and extra UPS doing it that way, or at least I think you are, because you have to move the trains from the iron smelters to the steel smelters. So also you've got all the extra inserters, because you've got the inserters which are unloading from the iron smelters into the boxes. Then the bots are taking stuff from the boxes to the boxes by the trains. Then there's inserters onto the train. But then you transport it by train and unpack it with inserters. It's then moved by bots and loaded into the steel smelters. And that feels like a lot of extra travel. Because there's also an issue of compression. So for ore, compression works in the wrong direction. Because of the productivity bonuses and because the baseline is 1 in, 1 out, the one iron ore going in becomes 1.2 iron plate coming out. Now, it stacks twice as high, but in terms of moving the items around by bot, it's a bit of a problem. Whereas once you get it into the steel smelting area, with productivity bonuses for every, how does it work? For every 25 plates you put in, every 25 iron plates you get in, I think you get 36 steel plates out. I can't quite remember the number, it's something like that. Sorry, 25 to 6, yeah. For every 25 iron plates you put in, you get 6 steel plates out, I think. And that's a really good compression. So if you can put in ore, then you can get the 20% bonus on the iron plate, and then the 20% bonus on the steel plate, and not have any of that stuff escape into the outside world. That's a win. So what I would like to do is try and design a 12 beacon build which does direct insert iron to steel. This is my iron smelter arrangement. I haven't yet optimized this. There's a lot that needs doing to it, but it's just to get a skeleton. I've cloned it. I'm now going to have a go at making this into a steel build. Okay, and the idea behind it is ideally what we would have is something like that. But you can't get the beacons around that. Now I could do a 10 beacon build, but that would make baby Jesus cry. So we're going to try for a 12 beacon build and see how far we can get. So if this was an iron smelter and this was a steel smelter, we could then beacon this up. Let's get some working blueprints. Great. Okay. So we can squeeze in beacons there. We can't, however, do much usefully with beacons there. We could do a hex pattern, but that would be only 6. I'll show you what I mean by that. We could do this. So this will be affected by 6 beacons. That's what you would also get if you had the beacons aligned with them in a strip. It's not really what we want to achieve. So we move these back a bit. Okay. And that gives the offsetting. Okay, so that's a 12 beacon build for a pair of smelters. And unfortunately I can't show what these smelters are doing until I load them up with ore, because they don't do... the recipes are annoying. I also want to put in some productivity modules. Right, where are we? There. Okay. So then let's duplicate this and reverse that. Okay, so clearly this middle smelter is being fed too much because it's been fed in both directions. So this would be iron ore into steel, into iron plate, sorry, and then iron plate into steel here. However, if we put a bunch of these side by side, it is actually on ratio again. Okay, so let's grab that. So that is 2 to 1. That is 3 to 2. 4 to 3. 5 to 4. 6 to 5. And that is now on ratio. So if we grab this, and I haven't done the other boxes yet, this is just designing for size. Right, so this is not quite as wide as our current builds. So the upside is it's totally self-contained. The downside is we have fewer smelters going on. And potentially we can only do 2 rows of them. Let's start putting the requester boxes in. Okay. So this needs to request iron ore. This needs to put out plate. Right, where are our boxes? That's providers. So provide, requesters. I've just done that around the wrong way. Request, provide. Okay, so we're going to cap the providing to 2 stacks. We are going to stick down power. I think this can be done with substations. Yep. There we are. Okay. That's better. Got rid of those flashing. So this needs to request, and of course I can't do it. All right, do we have, no, I can't conjure up iron ore out of thin air with this, unfortunately. However, I think we have some sat in some magic boxes over here somewhere. Grief. How have I managed to make this so big? Okay, so here's some ore. We can do with some of that. Let's grab some. Great. Okay. So we're going to dump some ore into here. Great, okay. That's now set the, has it? No, that's not set the request, okay. Well, let's set the request manually then. I actually don't know how many we need. 100 sounds about right. That's 2 stacks. And I think the only way we're going to be able to get sensible numbers out of this is to run it. Okay, so let's grab that. Okay, just double check. No, that doesn't have a request. Let's set it again. Is that the... Yeah, that's got it set. That hasn't. Okay, now, have I done this right? I think I may have done this wrong. I think it should have been 5 iron smelters to 6 steel smelters. Okay, let's... Yeah, let's do that again. So... joy. Yeah, if you pass inserters over beacons, they take modules out for reasons I do not understand, because they don't take modules out of assemblers. Okay, let's do this again. So do I have any trash slots? Is there an option on here? So cheats, personal cheats. Keep last item, repair mine, blah, 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 instant construct. Instant trash, instant request. So why can I not trash this? Put that in there. Okay. All right. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to have to get rid of some of this. I was a bit overzealous in how much I picked up. All right, let's try this again. That way, that way. That, 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 that. Okay, so this is requesting iron ore, then we're putting out at most 2 stacks of steel plate. There we are. Okay, so let's try again at copying that over. Okay, there, 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 there. And we will see if this works. Right, so the first thing we need to do is put down some roboports. We're in creative mode. I don't care about resources. Okay. Then let's put in some provider chests. Okay. Let's put all the rest in there. And I've got some logibots. Okay, then we need voiding requesters. So this is going to request steel. There we are. So that's running. Okay, so if this was running at full speed, it would be producing 330 steel plates a minute. Okay. And is it working? So the one to check is this one on the end. So I think that might be stalling occasionally. Yeah, it is stalling very occasionally. Right. Why is it stalling? Okay, so this is running at full speed. Yeah, and this can build up stacks of up to 100. So it's fine. So the issue, this one is running full time. It's slowly building up the number of plates in this. Gets up to 15, then it's down to 10, 5, 11, 12, 13, 8, 14, 9, 15, 10. Gets up to about 15. So how about the one in the middle? This one is stalling. Okay, so the issue is that the long-armed inserters can't quite empty these machines quickly enough. Let's double check if that's really the case. So we're looking at long-hand inserters. Yeah, it requires 1.3 long-hand inserters to empty the smelters. So we can't quite shift all the material. The ones on the end don't have the extra inserter. Let's once more do the whole thing. Okay, so it is on ratio. It's just that the long hand inserters aren't sufficient to do the job. So what's the option? Okay, so we could use, I just want to double check something. All right, so long hand inserters, not enough. Basic inserters, not enough. Fast inserter is sufficient. Okay. Okay, right. So I could do that. We are now using 2 stack inserters. And I don't know if you remember, but part of the rationale for this design was to cut down on the number of inserters. Okay. Right, is this working better? Yes, it is. Now, I want to check something. Right, F8. No, F6, F5. Yeah. Right, settings. Show UPS, blah, 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 blah. Get rid of the grid. Don't need paths, blah, 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 blah. Active state. Okay, so what I'm looking at is these inserters. They never have a red line through them, which means they are never asleep. So passing them without an intermediate box is awful for UPS. Okay, so let's see if we can... If we pass through an intermediate box and cap it to a single item. Okay, and I'm going to blueprint that because it has to be set with... I just want to show you this. So this has a red circle on it whenever it's not working, right? So some of the time these are not working, which is great. These always have a red circle on them, so they are always live. They're always recomputing. Okay, so by putting in the intermediate box, even though it's capped to a single stack, we are solving the never going to sleep problem. There we go. And once this is balanced out a bit, hopefully, right, so this is still sometimes running out. Because these are running, right, this is counting up 35, 7, 27. Oh, this is actually going to sort itself out after a while. So in the end, these boxes will have buffered up to 100, and then it should be okay. Let's watch. Okay, so that's still at 70 odd. That's up to 100. Great. So that's all the way up. Now this one is around 50s, 80, 90, 50s, empty. So this is still not getting enough items. And I just want to double check that this is on ratio. Yep, that is on ratio. Okay. So this particular 12 beacon build doesn't work. So what's the next option? Okay. The issue is that each iron smelter produces slightly more stuff than a single steel smelter can consume. And if you don't take advantage of that, the iron smelter boxes are idle part of the time, which is not ideal. Now we could do something fancy with different numbers of speed and prob mods, or different numbers of beacons perhaps. It's not really ideal. Okay, so it looks like this doesn't work. So let's think about what the next option could be. There might be something with fewer beacons, but which works well enough. Okay. Let's put that down there. And if we had a direct insert between a pair of smelters, right, that's 3 of them. The problem with this is that the beacons are going to get out of sync. So you see this one is lockstep, which isn't ideal. Okay. Right, so another option would be I'm going to design it this way up and we can flip it over in a minute. Okay, so this has 10 beacons rather than the full 12. So this is a 10 beacon build. We will see what kind of a hit that gives us in a minute when we fire it up. Okay, we can fit a substation here if we need to. And we would feed in there, put out there. Okay. This obviously is going to request this is going to be capped there. Now, there's no issue with this keeping going. And it's on ratio until we add prop mods. Right, now it's off ratio. What we could do is have a second out there. So we would do 1, 2. Ah, that doesn't line up. Let's fix this. Like that. Yeah, this looks all right, doesn't it? Okay. So we would have one, 2, 3, 4. Okay, except this is now well over ratio. Yeah, so we have extra stuff. Now, if we look at this design, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we need 5 plus 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. So if we rip this all up, and if this requested iron plate, does that ratio? Nope, still out. What have I done wrong? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steel machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iron machines. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steel machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steel machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iron machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iron machines. So this... Let's put it back on items per second. This top one I'm not catching it when everything has a recipe, that's why. Right, let's try again. All right, I caught it that time with everything with a recipe. It is ratioed. Okay, so can we take out... Right, if I grab that and take that out completely, and then can we... Yeah, we can snuggle that up. Let's... Okay. So, give this a chance to get going, because we have just put it down. Let's see if this runs better. All right, do we need all of these? Don't think we do. Ah, maybe we do. Okay. So, is this running full speed? And it's not. Why is it not? Okay, so this is filling up this end box. Once this box is full, that's better. Now this is running full time. This is running... Okay, and the issue here is that it is disproportionately taking from nearby smelters. The ones further away don't get the requests. How are we doing for bots? Are we... Oh, we're fine. It's not a lack of bots issue. Yeah, so this is eventually going to back up because the Logibots aren't pulling out this plate to feed this smelter. And this arrangement of feeding things left and right doesn't work well enough. Okay, what would happen if we used blue inserters? I know that's blasphemy. So blues are technically fast enough, but they also have a much smaller stack size, so they may be more polite in how they distribute things. Okay. So this is stalling. Okay. Okay, so this is not stalling. But this is running out of plate. Because too much is being taken from this. Okay, so that's design 2 down. Right, turn off those debug things because they're kind of annoying. Right. We could just put the smelters next to each other and have them bot transfer. You got to ask then what we're actually winning by doing it on the same site, and that is basically we're avoiding a train. So let's see if that works anyway. So let's take a compact 12 beacon build, and I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to get rid of all the power poles and the inserters and the boxes, and I want these back actually. Yeah, that'll do for now. Okay. So let's put that down there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, should have been more than 9, shouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, try again. There we are. All right. So in out, in out. Right, this is going to be the iron smelter, so that's it, iron in. Right, set that back down to 1. Let's put that to 2, because it's the ultimate out. But this intermediate one can be down at 1 stack. Okay. All right, so let's power this up. Okay. So let's double check that this is right. That needs to be there. This isn't requesting anything. Whoops, don't want to request steel. There we are. Okay, so this was a bit of a mistake. Out that comes. Okay. And how are we doing here? By the looks of it, this build works. Right. So, direct insert doesn't work. You can't keep the end machines going. So this has a throughput which is roughly equivalent to the 1-to-1, which loses the 0.2 productivity bonus. This, where you use direct insert for most of the machines, but have one that picks up the slack, doesn't work because you're pulling the excess plates unevenly from the various machines, so that the ones closest to this get drained. Doesn't work. This one, where we just have standard smelters, but we interleave the iron and the steel, is working at full speed. Okay. And I just want to double check. That's on ratio. Items per minute, yeah, 330. Okay. And I want to verify that this is running at 330. Let's rip up that. Rip up that. Take a blueprint of that. Okay, so one of those, and take that out. Right, and we're expecting it to be 1.3. Oh, we've got iron plates being made elsewhere, so that's not very fair. But this will be the only steel that's in play. I only want to see steel, really. So this is leveled off. And we're getting there. Okay, so I think this is going to be at around 330. Excuse me. $326, $329, $325, $330, $328, $330. So we're there. This is working at 330. We have charging issues. All right. That won't have helped. Great. Okay, so clearly this stacks one behind the other, like this does, but it's a smaller build. So the question becomes then, could we make it into a bigger build? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and these are 13. So if we had 6 of these, it would be 6 11s. That would be 66. This is 6 13s. Don't know my 13 times table, but I know my 12 6s are 72. Need a piece of paper. Excuse me while I pull up a virtual piece of paper. Right, so we have 3 times 11, sorry, 6 times 11 is 66. 6 times 13 is 6 times 12 is 72, so this is 78. The difference between those two is 78 minus 66 is 12. Okay, so there is enough room in here to fit in 7 of these builds in the space that there were 6 of these. And then there'd be 1 smelter which was not needed. The problem being, of course, that both 11 and 13 are prime numbers, so there isn't a good way to tile this. Could we build something much bigger? That's the other possibility. Okay, so this is our footprint. Let's stamp this down twice just to get a feel for what size 2 of them would be. There we are. Okay, and that is quite big. Okay. So this would be bigger than our footprint for our standard production module. Wouldn't be a problem bringing trains in, we would just bring in longer trains, but it would be bigger than our standard build footprint. Maybe that isn't a problem. The issue is, if I can explain, so we could stack 3 of these behind each other and end up with a nice, massive, giant steel smelter. But it's quite long. There'd be a lot of sideways bot traffic. What I'd ideally like to do is cut it back a bit, so it's more this sort of size, but to do that we then need to get things to ratio out again. Okay. Shorter one. Okay, so this is 6 plus 5. So could we leave an overhang of 6 smelters here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then so that would let us fit another 5 smelters here and 6 down here. which would bring us back on ratio. So it would be a half build and a half build with an extra machine somewhere. Let's stamp that down. And obviously the requests will all be inappropriate at the moment. Okay, so that would be something similar to a well ratioed build. Let's see how big that is. That's looking less ridiculous. Although we still have issues with that hairpin. Okay. And just to remember, that's the double build. Maybe the solution just is really big trains. Right. Let's see how big the trains would be, just so that we can have a bit of a laugh at things. And then I'm going to leave this episode after that. Okay. Cool. So if we had a train station, because it helps line everything up when you have a train station. Okay, then we start putting down carriages. Put a locomotive at the front just because it anchors everything. Okay. So that's 20. And that 19, 18, 17. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Okay, let's put some fuel in one of these, and then I can move them. Okay, it doesn't want to go backwards. Is there an issue here? Is this all connected? Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out Is that approximately? So this is about 2 machines off this end. About 2 machines off this end. Yeah, so a 4/16/4 train is the right size for this. I would then need another train to pick stuff up. Then this kind of arrangement below. And in fact, the trains could so you could have request provide like that. Oops. Right, let's try that again. So I know it's only a sketch of a design, but I still get worried if things aren't lined up properly. Yeah, throw in power. And a pole, and what's the best way to do power down the middle? Actually, if we are offloading everything towards the middle, let's take that, nuke this, put it back down. How close can we get? That close. Cool. Okay, we need a hole there. And there. Then we need, I think substations down the middle is as good as anything, isn't it? Okay. And apparently that doesn't quite bridge there. Okay, so that would be pretty awesome. How would we test it? Okay. Let's take a duplicating chest. This is a properly ugly thing to do. So we are going to load Logibots. Okay, that's going too quickly. There they are. Okay, let's let this totally fill up, then we'll pick up the box. Yeah, just take that away. We can always put the inserter back down to load more. Then let's copy this. We can easily get rid of these items later. Okay. Okay, and then the request here needs to be set to steel, which it is. Right, remember this was doing 330 and working perfect. Get rid of this. Okay, this is not running. Okay, that's enough for now. No, let's put more in. Okay. Right, we're up to 1,000 bots. And that's all right. Yeah, they're now starting to roost. All right. So I'm just having a look around. Everything appears to be working. Ah, there's a beacon there missing power. And this should be producing nearly 4K, 3.969K. And we're hovering on 3.9K. Yeah. Okay. So, moving to 16 carriage ore trains lets us build a sensibly sized iron smelter. Let's just remind ourselves, if we head up here, okay, so these are the old builds, and one of these is 21K of iron plate. So that's 21501. Right. Two 21501 divided by 5, very approximately 4.3K. Star 1.2. Oh. Okay, so I might have got about 5K of steel out of an equivalent one of these builds. And we're getting almost 4 out of this. So it's not a terrible step back. And it drastically reduces the number of train trips, because there's a lot of trains moving iron plates to steel. I don't know. I will seriously consider using this in the next Megabase. I think next time round I'm going to use a world where the ore patches are deep enough that I can dedicate particular ore patches to particular smelters. So it would be possible to have different sized trains for the steel smelting than the iron, and so on and so on. So I may end up doing this next time. Anyway, I thought I would have a go. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 steel smelters per row, whereas the other build has 13. And that's the issue. We have fewer steel smelters for one of these builds, even though the build is a lot bigger, because you've got the iron smelting in it. But fundamentally, I quite like the build. So, lessons learned. It's difficult with a 12 beacon build to get direct insert to work at full speed. If you don't use up all of your iron plates, you are wasting your productivity modules, basically. And the only way I can get it to balance is to have all of the iron plates moved by bot. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm going to be broadcasting the other series I've been running, the Grinds My Gears series, throughout the week. That's going to continue for a bit longer, and then I'm going to have a bit of a think about where I want to go with a more serious world. Grinds My Gears is a bit of a laugh. It's a crazy mod, and I'm doing silly things with it. But I'll have a go at building another Megabase world, and probably in a few weeks' time, when I've had a bit of a break from building big. Yeah, and we'll see if these builds make sense then. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.